So like they were obsessed. He was obsessed with the Aryan race, and like he saw the Jews as the opposite of them, like dark hair, rather than blonde hair, blue eyes. What was Maria Orsic?
Blonde hair, blue eye. What's up, guys? If you're not,
yeah, I don't know, man. He seemed like that when you say like he got on stage and just something clicked. I guess I can kind of relate to that in the sense of I did an event once. Not saying I'm like Hitler or anything, but like
I was like, where's he going with this?
Yeah. So here's the thing. I first noticed Tony Robbins said something similar, and he still says it on podcasts to this day. He goes, when I'm like in front of someone it's a crowd of 5,000 people, and I ask, is there anybody in the room who's suicidal? If you're suicidal, stand up. And out of 5,000, just statistically, there's going to be 12 to 15 is what he said. And he goes, when I ask that question and I'm in front of one person in the middle of 5,000 people and we're talking about why they're suicidal and I say something to save them and talk them off the ledge, he goes, I have 100% success rate. I'm just talking what Tony Robbins' thing is, right? Yeah. And he said this in a moment during that documentary, right after he saved some dude's life. This just happened, right? They put a camera in his face right after, and they go, how do you know what to say? Like, how do you know what happens? He goes, I don't know. Like, I just kind of turn off my mind and it flows through me. Like, he's talking like it flows through him. So like, it kind of reminded me of what you were saying about like Hitler. Like when he's in that crowd, he just switches off and it just happens. Like you're in the ultimate flow state right there, But it's also how you say it, and that's what makes Tony Robbins so powerful, because the charisma and delivery, and he's got a unique voice too. There's something to that. But if you say like, I'm going to come up with a very unoriginal line that's not beautiful, but pretend it's beautiful. Like you say to someone like that, hey, people want you here, man. Think of all the people who will miss you when you're gone and now realize what kind of value you have in the world. It's not like good, but if you say it like, yeah, hey, people want you here, man. Think about all the value you have in the world and the people who would miss you if you were gone. That doesn't hit, but if you're like, think about the value you have, man. Think about all the people. Are you picturing your mother, your father, your wife, your kids? You don't think those kids love you? They love you so much. I know it's hard, right? You say it like that, you start. That's a bad example, but like you get the point. Like if you say it in a way that makes people feel it, right?
The words change.
Yeah,
it's just how it is. And he did that, and instead of like doing something positive, he was like, "Here's why we hate everyone." Yeah, he was like, "Listen, we hate everyone. We hate them all. They suck. But you're gonna be better for it. Yeah. You are gonna be so better for it, man." And people were like, "God damn it, yes I am. Let's make those concentration camps. God damn, like that's what it just people in their heads."
Bro, you just reminded me of a connection back to something we were actually talking about earlier.
Let's go.
So like they were obsessed. He was obsessed with the Aryan race, and like he saw the Jews as the opposite of them, like dark hair, rather than blonde hair, blue eyes. What was Maria Orsic?
Blonde hair, blue eye. And
they say that the Nazi Party, and you can like, I've looked it up. There's differing opinions on how the Nazi party was formed, but one of the leading theories is that Vril Society that was led by Maria Orsic, which was a real occult society, that merged with another one. I said that earlier, right? To form the Nazi Party. But she claimed that these beings from the Aldebaran star system were, they called themselves the Aryans, right? The Aryan race. And was
it the Nordics?
Is that what they were called? We might call that them. I don't know if these are the same, and that's why like some of these other stories where they bring in like Nordic-looking beings, like what Travis Walton saw, right? Basically, Aryan type of race that the Nazi Party was obsessed with, right? Well, Maria Orsic basically fit the profile, and so did all the girls in that group, and she was claiming through her remote viewing sessions and communications with these beings that they were the Aryan race and this is what they looked like. And so they're giving him these wonder weapon blueprints, right? And so that's where if you actually kind of look into this stuff or even start believing some of this stuff, you go, holy shit, like was this whole thing started because of his obsession with literally extraterrestrials?
Could it? I've heard a lot on that because, like we were saying, like also the occult thing, like in general, which can tie some of that in. That's something I got to go deeper on too. I know you've looked at a lot of that. I've looked at some of that. Like it could be, and it's a part of the big secret, whatever the secrets of that war and the aftermath are. Like that's in there. Your guess is as good as mine, though. I just, we talk in pop culture now so much about this UFO phenomenon, especially like the last few years, last couple in particularly, but the last 3 to 5 years has become a bigger thing. For so long before that, not many people talked about it. Like it went away. But as long as humans have been here, they've been able to look up at the sky. And for thousands of years, I think like a couple thousand, we've known there's planets, right? Yeah. And we know there's a solar system.
I mean, the Egyptians clearly knew.
Right. Right. You look at some of the stuff that's real. I'm not talking like the ancient aliens type narratives. Like there's real stuff. We're going to get to that in a minute. But like, it's always been a question to people. But why does it go in spurts of people being interested? And maybe a better way to say that, why does history, like historians, not talk about the people of major times in history and their interest in that stuff? Like, why don't I hear a lot about Leonardo da Vinci thinking about that? Which is something apparently he did. I got to look more into that, but I've heard that recently, right? I'm reading his biography right now, so maybe that'll come up. But like, why don't people talk about that? Why don't people talk about the Nazis' relationship with this stuff as much? I mean, these motherfuckers were crazy, and they lived. I mean, they're still living in South America apparently, but like they were around 80 years ago. That's not a long time ago.
Yeah, that's the point. Like, if this is the narrative of history that actually occurred, that was left out of the history books, not even saying I believe it is, but if it is, you might understand why maybe the government wouldn't want people to know that Nazis really won the war because they got advanced flying anti-gravity craft.
Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.